Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. It's Joanna. These are going to be your messages for the month of December 2018. I'm going to make this very quick because I myself don't like long intros. Please remember that these are general messages. My intent is to give you something to think about, something to look at from a different perspective in order to help you gain clarity and ultimately that you can become a more empowered you. So rather than focusing on predictions, I am focusing on what may come up for you in the month of December and how some of these situations will allow you to see certain things and perhaps to create certain things for yourself that you have not been able to before. So I always intend on giving you as much information as I can in order to help you evolve. And how you take that information and how you apply it, or if you even consider it, that is entirely up to you. What I would encourage you to do is to listen to it at the end of the month, because these messages are really limitless or timeless. There is really the principles that I ask to give can be applied to really any sign in any situation. So it is important for you to listen with an open heart and an open mind and see how it can help you. Of course, listening to the other signs may offer you more guidance, and above all, don't take anything that I say as gospel. Listen with your heart and allow yourself to feel whether it resonates with you or not. Sometimes I will say things that may trigger you. If that happens, it's a good indication that something inside of you is wanting to say something. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Also, if you are interested in a Uranus projections, it's a 7-month projection. That information is down below on the Vimeo page. And let me see if there's anything else. Thank you, of course, always for watching, for sharing, for subscribing, and for private sessions, if that is what you wish. That information is down below. Thank you again so much. Have yourself a wonderful holiday season if you are practicing it or if you are celebrating it. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye. Hello, beautiful Leos. These are going to be your messages for the month of December 2018. My camera seems to be affected by the retrograde, so I might have to piece this this session together. So if that's the case, I apologize right away. All right, let's tune into your energy and let's see what we have for you for the month of December. I feel for many of you, you will be feeling like time is speeding up, or time has sped up lately, or you don't have time for anything anymore. This feels to be connected to those of you who are very much givers, whether you have giving personality where you always give. Perhaps you are a caregiver to us, this is your job. Perhaps you are a caregiver to a loved one. Perhaps you serve in a capacity of taking care of others, either guidance. I don't feel this is work related. I feel this is more, could be work related, but I feel this is more in terms of your nature. And I feel like it's like you need to take rest. The feeling of not having enough time seems to be forced through you accepting a lot of responsibility that aren't yours. And, everyone will have a different idea of what that means to them. But there's a need for many of you to slow down with something. And then I hear the words control issues. So perhaps some of you need to control everything in order for everything to be fine. Perhaps some of you believe that there is no one out there who could control things better than you, and therefore you take on a ton of responsibility that usually isn't yours, and you end up over working and overextending and overexerting yourself. I also feel it's time, I hear, did you forget about something? Did you forget about something? And I feel many of you are on autopilot and you do things because you've done it for so long, or you think you have to, and obviously you must think it's important, whatever that is for you. But I hear like they're saying, hey, did you forget about you? Did you forget about you? What is it that you want out of all of this? And it feels as if whoever I'm talking to have been running through life or sleepwalking through life, where you are going through series of repetitive movements each and every day. And it's not that you don't derive value from it, because if you didn't, you wouldn't do it. There's got to be some value from it for you. But I hear the word responsibility. It's almost like you're taking on so much, but that is actually keeping you from pursuing what's really important to you. And I'm going, well, why on earth would they do that? And then I hear the words, they're afraid they're going to fail. So that can be applied to any situation, but there are going to be a number of you who hear and understand this perfectly well. And then you may need to decide what to do with all of this. For some of you, this is about creating an environment for yourself where you too feel like you are being taken care of. So this is clearly talking to some of you, to those of you who give a lot of yourself to others. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Don't misunderstand me. It's a beautiful quality. I am talking to those of you who seem to feel time is speeding up, or you have no time for yourself, because that then becomes a problem. And I'm being shown you needing to look in the mirror, and then you're turning away. It's like you don't want to look in the mirror. And looking in the mirror to me symbolizes looking at yourself clearly, looking in the mirror to see what's staring at you. And I hear them say, you have a responsibility to you. Don't you understand that? And I feel this is for those of you who have forgotten who you are because you do so many things and you lost connection with yourself. Chances are this is going to hit those of you the most who need to have control of your life, and therefore you control everything, whatever that means to you. We control things for various reasons. Sometimes controlling is fantastic. Hey, if you have a business to run, you want to stay in control. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having the need to control everything or else. That it comes from a sense of needing to have control. That's very different. So, month of December, don't forget about yourself. You are also very important. This is going to mean some of you are going to go, I don't know what she's talking about. And some of you are going to say, that is me. Okay? Responsibility is the heavy thing that is on your shoulders. So many of you are dealing with a lot of heavy responsibilities. Some of those responsibilities are burdens of other people, and some of these responsibilities are just heavy. And many of you do a lot for other people. Many of you work in environments where it is physically very draining and very tiring. And I feel like you keep yourself stuck there because you believe you can't have it any different. And always remember what you believe you will create. Because my apologies, this was the first one where my camera froze. Okay, moving on with the energy for the month of December. You have wizard awareness in reverse. Okay, and this is the energy for the month of December. I feel like many of you will try to control a lot of things in your life. Now, if you're a mom, if you're a parent, if you take care of other people, if you have a lot of responsibilities, chances are in the month of December, you will have a lot on your shoulders. So you may feel like time is running out, and you may feel like you need to control everything because the dinner is not going to get put out on time, for example. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those of you who insist on controlling a situation, despite the fact that perhaps it's not going the way you want it to, or there's some other obstacles. This is a message for those of you who have the need to control for whatever reason. And again, I'm not talking about being in control in work and doing that stuff. That's not what I mean. You know exactly what I mean when you hear this, if this is meant for you. If you are trying to force something to happen, you will generally do this out of a fear that something is going to happen if you don't have control. So, month of December seems to be you looking at some of those things that you think you can't help, but you just have to do it, and really asking yourself the question, is this really this important to me? And if so, why is it so important for me to control? I feel many of you will have an epiphany moment, if you will, where you will begin to start to see and recognize certain things or certain patterns. The month of December for many signs seem to be very consistent all across the board about remembering who we are. It is almost as if December comes up and Spirit says, hey, did you forget about you? Do you remember who you are? Do you remember why you're here? Number one reason why you're here is for you, not for anybody else. So you too are getting a reminder that responsibilities are part of life, but the number one responsibility you have to you always. And if you are not able to take care of yourself, emotional needs, physical needs, spiritual needs, if you are not able to do that because you are too busy, chances are it is an excuse you're giving yourself in order to keep yourself from whatever it is that's really bugging you. All right. So that's going to mean some things for some of you. I'm not saying things are going to happen in December. I'm saying there is a level of awareness that is available to you in the month of December, particularly for those of you who are experiencing holiday season or who are celebrating holiday season, because there's so much on the go. And when there is so much on the go all at once, it can feel very overwhelming when you believe you have to be in control of everything. So it's an interesting month to highlight that. Now, what is it that you need to leave behind? Self-discipline. Now, do not misunderstand me. This isn't about you letting go of discipline, because guess what? Discipline is very good. It is what you are disciplined to. What do you absolutely believe must happen or else? So there are two sides to discipline, self-discipline. Some people, example, if you restrict your food intake, your calorie intake to the point that you barely function, well, though your strong will is admirable, it is not really working for your greatest good at the time, because, well, if you restrict yourself to the point where you have no energy, then you eventually lose your will to live because you're constantly tired. So that's another form of self-discipline. If you feel the need to control everything, that is you being disciplined about having your life in control. You may need to ask yourself, what is it behind the deep need, and see if you can release yourself from it. Some of you are needing to move away from a risky situation. Some of you are needing to take more risks. So it's all about balance. It's all about balance. Some of you may completely overwhelm yourselves with responsibilities in order to avoid taking risks in your life. And risk is not a bad thing. Calculated risk is something you usually want to aim at, but when we completely shy away from taking any risks, then we are not really growing or stretching. And I feel like many of you need to learn how to fly. That is a metaphor. And because of it, you need to look at the things or aspects in your belief system that prevent you from flying. Flying will mean different things to different people. To me, it means a sense of freedom, For others of you, the idea of freedom may mean freely expressing yourself and your needs in a relationship. and for some reason you can't do that, or you're not willing, or you don't want to. So freedom may mean different things to different people, but you will know what freedom means to you. Whatever is keeping you not free or imprisoned, if you will, it looks like the month of December might give you the opportunity to see it much more clearly. Pioneering spirit is another message where this is something you need to let go of. Now, I want to make this very clear. If you are a pioneer in something, you're not being asked to let go of that. Quite the contrary. This is more about balance. Some of you need to, like I said earlier, take more risks in your life, become much more independent, feel what it's like to feel independent. For some of you, you have gone so far in the independent route that the idea of being with somebody else terrifies you. So there is a risk and responsibility with this message. And again, the whole idea about responsibility. I would invite you, those of you who will hear it and those of you who will understand it at a certain point, to look at what holds you back in your life from the things you wish to achieve. Now, some of you may say, $1 million holds me from being happy. And I'm going to say, no, actually, that's not it. Because you'll get your $1 million and then you'll spend it pretty soon because the very bottom of you, or base of you, doesn't believe it can have it. So you will sabotage it, or you will push it away. That's how it works. I'm also not talking about things that, let's say you have kids and there is your responsibility. You're not going to chuck them on the side of the road because you want to be free. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about feeling a sense of freedom inside while having earthly responsibilities, taking risks to feel more, to be more, while maintaining balance in your life. It's about the balancing effect. And most of us, I believe, are always trying to seek balance of some sort. And it feels like the month of December can help some of you realize what is out of balance. I asked which area it's affecting you the most. Very interesting. Hierophant came up and the Fool. So Hierophant is all about belief systems. The Fool, well, we know it's a brand new beginning. It is in reverse. I feel like this, for most of you, this is about your beliefs that come from a religious background. For some of you, you are an authority figure where you have the ability to give guidance to others, but for whatever reason, you're not willing to take that risk. For others of you, it is about gaining certain level of wisdom because it'll help you with something that you're dealing down the road. The Hierophant, where I ask what it means, I hear the words, be yourself always. And in order to be yourself always, you have to first know yourself pretty well, and two, be strong in who you are in order to remain true to who you are, because the world environment will try to sway us in various ways, and depending how strong we are inside, will either be like a flag that flows in whatever direction, or like a solid oak tree that stands still and tall despite of the weather, and that's a metaphor. So I feel that a month of December, again, feels very strengthening in many levels, and strengthening in your beliefs. Some of you, I feel, will be seeking guidance. Perhaps you belong to a religious family and you will have a priest who will visit you. Chances are you probably wouldn't listen to this message, but hey, you never know. Some of you are going to ask for guidance regarding a career move that will happen at the end of next year or end of this year. It'll happen next year sometimes, or you are planning on moving career and you are looking at choices and decisions and you are talking to someone who's going to offer you guidance. This could be someone in a religious background, but it could be a trusted friend. It could be someone you look up to, could be a colleague, could be anybody you deem has something important to say about what you are asking. The Fool in reverse, obviously, it's a brand new beginning. It is about taking risks, but it's also about not, how do I say this? Taking risks, not shying away from risks, but also not taking the risk to the point where you... So you can see this is very much about balance, about giving, but also about receiving. You learning how to receive, you recognizing perhaps that you don't often receive because you always give. Now, many of you, this will be around home. For some of you, this is going to be around work. This is just signifying to me that this is where you end up once you start letting go of needing to control things so much. You, aside from the fact that I believe this is, 10 of Cups, it's a fantastic message to have for December. It is a time of celebration, as you can see. It's rainbows and it's solid. 10 is now also the end of a cycle. And I feel December offers an opportunity to end certain ways inside of yourself that will ultimately wrap up a very long, for some of you, karmic cycle. And perhaps for some of you, it's to do with sacrifice. You have been sacrificing yourself for other people and you have forgot to live for you. The card that represents your final, advice is Soul Retriever. I love this. This message basically says, if at any point you have given up aspect of yourself in order to belong, in order to love, in order not to lose something, in order to feel safe, whatever. If there's an aspect of you that you have pushed aside, or you have rejected, or you have denied, in order to control everything, it's time, for example, it's time for you to get that back. I hear the words, like river, life ebbs and flows. It's time now for you to fly. And what I feel is many of you have been overburdened, and that weight is preventing you from flying again, whatever that means to you. And for some of you, it's a certain condition you have in your body, and this is a really weird message, and you are letting it hold you back. So I'm going to leave that one because he says to me, just leave it. So if you are dealing with a condition, notice how much are you holding yourself back because of it, right? And that can basically be taken by anybody. And with that said, I want to wish you best of luck. Thank you so much for listening. If this makes any sense to you, by all means, please comment. I read every single one of them. Please remember that these are general messages. They're meant to pertain to as many people as it is possible. That's what I always ask for. And chances are you will recognize this at some point in the next little while, because these principles can be applied to any situation in life. Whatever you draw from this is up to you. I do hope that you gain something from it, that you will perhaps see things in a slightly different way that will allow you to feel freer in some aspect, because you deserve it, and that is very important. And with that said, thank you so much for private session. That information is down below. Sorry again about the camera stopping. It's just one of those things. Best of luck to you and take care. Bye.